Welcome to this hopefully short introduction video to this game that I created called Hack the Game. And in this video I'm going to try and explain how to register an account, how to log into the game, how to set up your own server, and how to do your very first hack. I will try my best to explain all the commands that I'm using, but if something is unclear, just know that there is a wiki that explains most of the stuff in great detail, so be sure to check that out if something is unclear. Now, the way a command line works, at least in Linux, is that you can see which user is logged in to which host. And we are currently an anonymous user on Starter Hub, which is the start server for the game. So the first thing we want to do is register an account so we can log into it. If we are on a new machine or any server, we can type the command available to see which commands are available to us in our current user session. And you can see we can do a bunch of things, but the thing we are most interested in is the command user add. And if we want to know more about a command, we can use the manual command, or man for short, and then we can do man user add. And then it will say this registers an account on the server, and the syntax is user add, then username, and then the email address. So we do user add demo at HackTheGame.com. This will now have registered an account in the game, and it will have sent me an email with the password. To log into the game or log into the system, we can use the command superuser, or SU for short. Let's again see how it works. And it says log into your account, superuser, username, password. Superuser, demo, password. As you can see, we are no longer anonymous at Starter Hub, but we are now demo at Starter Hub. Because we are now logged in, we can use the available command again, and you can see we have a bunch more things we can do. And one of the things, and the thing we are interested in right now, is the command VPS. If you are logging in for the first time into the game, you need to create your own server. And VPS is short for virtual private server. If you do manual VPS, then you can see that VPS takes a lot of parameters, but the one we are interested in is create. It creates a fresh VPS. VPS create. This will have now created our very own server with this IP address and this password. So we need that to connect to that server. And you can use this command to connect to your server, but you can also use VPS connect. And every time you log into the game with the SU command, you need to VPS connect to your own server. So now we are no longer demo at Starter Hub, we are now demo at our own server, the demo server. There are a few commands that you should really learn, and one of them is lists, or ls, which shows you the files in the current folder. The current folder is the root folder. It's just the slash, and as you can see, there are 4 folders on our server. If we want to go, for example, into the bin folder, we use the change directory command, so cd bin. And now you can see that this changed to bin, and now if we do ls or list, you can see that there are 2 files in the bin folder. This is our operating system, and this is a program that allows us to remotely connect to this server. Before we start doing some hacking, we should really secure our own server a bit more. One of the things you want to do is install a firewall. If we want to install packages, update packages, remove packages, you need to use a package manager, and on the systems in this game, you can use apt-get. So let's do man apt-get. The thing we want to do is apt-get list packages. By the way, if you select text with the left mouse button, this text is now copied to the clipboard. So if we do Ctrl V, we can run the command. And as you can see on the server at this IP address, there are the following packages that we can install. And the one we are interested in is firewall-d. So to install a package, you do apt-get install and then firewall-d. So now our firewall is installed. Another command that you really should learn to use is top. And top shows you which processes are running on the server and how much CPU they are using. As you can see, we are using 50% of our CPU, and that's taken by systemd and sshd. But as you can see, firewall-d is missing from this list, and that is because we need to start the firewall. For that, we do firewall start. That's my bad. By the way, if you press the arrow up key, it will repeat the last command that you typed. It is of course firewall D start. And now if you do top again, you can see that firewall D is now running. Another thing that you also want to install is mailD, because you need to be able to send emails. apt-get install mailD and then mailD start. You can see, by the way, that mailD created a folder var mail, and that is where your emails are stored, but we'll get to that later. We are now ready to start the preparations for our very first hack. For that, you can send a message to a hacker called Lord Nikon. So send mail, Lord Nikon, and if we go to the wiki, you can see that you can send him a message stating task start, send mail Lord Nikon, enter, and this is where you type your email. You just type task start and press send. And now in about a minute or two, you will get an email back from Lord Nikon. Fast forward, if we now do list, you can see, notice you have one unread message. And as you recall, the mails are stored in this folder. So if we do change directory var mail and type list, then you can see there is a new email here from Lord Nikon. You can see that it is an unread message because this is inverted. To read a text file, you can use the v command or view. So v and then the name of the file. So here's the email that Lord Nikon sent us, and it says you are missing a vital tool on your server called nmap. This tool and a lot of other hacking tools are available on a secret apt server. Add the following IP address to a new line in this file. So let's copy this IP address by just selecting it. There we go. And after adding that IP, you can install nmap by typing apt-get install nmap. It also says before you can do jobs for me, you need a Bitcoin wallet. Create one on your server using BTC create. So let's do these two things and then contact Lord Nikon again. First thing it said was to go to etc apt. And there is indeed a file called sources.list. Now we can do vi sources.list and it will show us the contents of that file, but we want to edit the file, and for that we use vim. So press arrow up, vim. So this is editing the file. This is the IP address that was already in here. If you press enter and then Control V, and this is the IP address that we copied from this email, and then press save and exit. So now this file is updated. If we do this again, you can see that there are now two IP addresses here. Now if you do apt-get list packages, as we did before, you can now see that there is the old apt server with the packages that we already saw, but there is now a new one, and this lists new files that we can install. So let's install nmap. apt-get install nmap. You don't need to start nmap. Nmap is just a program that we can use. The next thing that Lord Nikon said we should do was to create a Bitcoin wallet with the command btc create. If we do man BTC, you can see you can create, you can get some info on your wallet, and you can remove your wallet. Let's type BTC create, and now we have our own Bitcoin wallet, and it stored our keys in this folder. Let's go to that folder. And you can see there are two files here, a private key and a public key. You only need a private key when you are sending Bitcoin, but we are gonna do a hack, so we are probably going to steal some Bitcoin. So we need this key, vi public.key. This is our public Bitcoin key. Let's copy that. I'm going to move over a window that I always use when I play this game. This is just Notepad++ set to always on top. And now I'm gonna do Bitcoin wallet public. And now we're gonna contact Lord Nikon again. Send mail Lord Nikon. Task. Start. And now yet again, we wait for his email. Fast forward a bit, and you can see we now have one unread message. And as you remember, mails are stored in var mail. And you can see there is one unread email by Lord Nikon again. So vi for view, jzeeb. And now we get our very first real job. I need to have an HTTP daemon running on a particular server. This server is up on IP and this. So let's copy that IP And then it says acquire access and make it work. I know you can do it. And that is all the info we get. We just get the IP address. Before we can attack a target, we need to know the attack surface. And for that we use nmap. So you remember the tool we installed. If you do manual nmap, you can see that the syntax simply is nmap and then the IP nmap. The IP we copied from the email from Lord Nikon. And nmap will scan this host for exploitable ports. As you can see, there are a lot of ports that are closed. We cannot abuse the SSHD port. Telnet is closed. The web server is closed. A lot of stuff is closed, but mailD is open and we can exploit this open port 25. And for that we need a tool, and I'm going to show you which tool we need. If we do list packages again, you can see there is a tool called mail exploit, and this is the tool that we need. So apt get install mail exploit. Whoops. Mail exploit just wants the IP address and then the port. We're going to type mail exploit. And then we need the IP address of the server we're going to attack. Let's just do in our little notepad, target IP is this. And the open port is 25. This saves us from a lot of scrolling. Mail exploit, this IP, and then port 25. Let's go. And now mail exploit is going to try all the exploits on port 25. And as you can see, we were successful on the first attempt. Usually it will take a few attempts. Let's do another run of the exploit. And you can see that it usually takes a couple of tries. You can see that this attempt was unsuccessful. We can use this password here. And you can see that mail exploit was written by Phantom Freak. And it says special greets to Tolby and Elmo from Expression. Google them, they're pretty cool guys. We can now use this password to connect to the server of this victim. To connect to a server, we use the secure shell command. And if we check out secure shell, it says secure shell IP address password. Secure shell, and we need the IP address of that poor fellow again, the one we have written here. And the password was here. Passwords, there we go. Now we are connected to a server of somebody else. In this case, it's an NPC, but you can also do this, of course, with the server of a different player. Now this server behaves exactly the same as every server, including your own. So if you do ls, we can see what files are on the system. And as you can see, that's very interesting. It says insufficient system resources. If you remember the command top, you can see that it's using 155% of the CPU. And that is because there is a program running which is using 50% of the CPU. So let's stop that process, btc minor daemon stop. And let's also stop the firewall because we don't care about the firewall of somebody else. It didn't work, so arrow up. Let's try again, again. So that stopped, so top. And now we have a utilization of 85%, so we have 50% headroom. And what I also always do on a system if I breach it is to stop this daemon, log daemon. This logs all the events on a system, and we don't want our events logged. I always do logd stop. Logd stores its log files in var log. And as you can see, if we go, for example, into the firewall via firewall d.log, you can see that it picked up on the nmap scam that we did, and this is our IP address, and it also sees the suspicious packages from the exploit that we ran. You don't want this file here. And if we check sshd.log, you can see demo, that's us, logged in from this IP address. We don't want these log files here. So what we can do is remove them. So remove sshd.log. Now that file is gone, or we just do remove everything. And this cannot be restored. So now we have stopped the log daemon and we have removed all the log files. Now, if I remember correctly, Lord Nikon wanted us to run HTTP daemon on this system. Let's go back to the email. Yeah, it says I need to have HTTP daemon running on a particular server. We know how to do that. That's with the apt-get command, apt-get install HTTP daemon. And as you already know, installing it is not enough because it's not running now. So HTTP daemon start. If you do top, now you can see that HTTP daemon is running. So now we can disconnect from this server. We are now demo at Starter Hub. We can go back to our own server with VPS Connect. And now we need to contact Lord Nikon again. Lord Nikon. And say task done and send. Fast forward. You can see we have an unread message. So we go to var mail and lists. And as you can see, there is a new unread email. So VIEDLY. And you can see Lord Nikon is very satisfied. He says, I can see the server is now exploitable via the daemon that you installed. I will now take it over from here. You work wonders. And if we do Bitcoin, so BTC info, you can see we now have 1 Bitcoin in our Bitcoin balance. You did your very first hack. You got your very first Bitcoin. And this is in short how you play the game. You can now ask Lord Nikon for a new mission. He has a lot of them. So go check them all out. And if you're done hacking NPCs, maybe you can start scraping the log files of these servers that you're hacking and find some real player IPs and do your magic there. Have fun playing the game. And of course, hack the planet.